What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of Lobbing Scorchers featuring the one and own Cory Hinthorn, general manager of West Seattle Junction. If you don't know who West Seattle Junction are, Cory's going to tell us a lot more about them, so stay tuned. We've got a lot to cover. We got drama, potentially, is what I've heard. I've heard there might be a little drama in this episode, but we are going to dive in right now. Cory, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Why don't you start with telling us a little bit about yourself, including you're a graduate of Wazoo, correct?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so
you're in enemy territory a little bit.
Enemy territory. I like to say there's a lot of Cougs over here on the west side, but it's lucky we don't have a men's soccer team at Wazoo, so I can kind of disconnect a little bit about that and root on the UW men's team. I'm coming around on the UW women. I think, we have a few of those on the West Seattle Roadies, our brand new USLW women's team. So, yeah.
No, and we'll be also talking some roadies here as well soon. So stay tuned for that. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with the Junction? How long have you been around? And what's your title? What it kind of means?
Yeah, of course. So I joined the staff last year around January, and I basically just brought my resume down to the open tryouts. And fortunate enough, they were looking for people to add. And actually, my former goalkeeper coach is one of the owners.
Oh, awesome.
And so I had a little bit of an in and needed an internship. And so they slotted me in, and I just took as much responsibility as they allowed me to have. And so it just continued to develop over year one with the club. And now coming into year two, they needed somebody to kind of step into a general manager role. And lucky enough, I was the candidate they went with.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously a new operation for you guys. Was last year the first full season in USL League 2? Is that correct? Or how long?
Yeah. So Junction, we joined last year. So obviously Ballard had a few years ahead of us. You have an established team down in Eugene, Lane United. And then Oldie Town, another really great established
Friends
team.
of the show.
Oh, yeah.
We've got another podcast, the Cooler Guild, and their women's team GM is a host.
Oh, that's great.
What's the response been like from the West Seattle community? It's not necessarily, if I was thinking of neighborhoods or locations in Seattle where I would expect another USL League 2 team to pop up, I don't know if that would have been the first one that came to mind, but once I learned more about it, it does make sense. How would you kind of just describe the scene and the response that you guys have gotten since you got rolling here?
Oh, it's been incredible. I'm born and raised West Seattle, and so seeing the reaction has been incredible. We were averaging right around 600, 700 fans our first season.
That's
obviously
great.
Looking to build off of that, but I believe we were right under Ballard for attendance last year. Ballard drew a fantastic crowd when we hosted them. About 1,000 people showed up to that. But to be honest, West Seattle is a soccer community. It's a soccer neighborhood. West Seattle Soccer Club, the rec league, the rec youth league there is very established. So many young players coming out of West Seattle, and so it was a perfect opportunity for us to fill that gap of pre-professional right in that neighborhood. So.
Is it would you say it's pretty similar in terms of the players that you guys get to how Ballard does it? Like college guys, D1 guys, is that the typical profile of player that you guys are putting on your rosters?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely we go after D1 guys. I would say that we really look into to D2 and D3, even community college level, and that gives our team some of the grit that you saw last year. We really think that some of those guys have been overlooked in the recruiting season, and so the idea of pre-professional is developing these players and getting them to where they want to be. Ideally professionally, but if we have a D3 player who really wants to find a D1 program, we're looking to assist them in that. But yeah, it's very similar to Ballard. We work very closely with local colleges, and then we do some of our own recruiting outside of Washington as well.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's really interesting the gap that USL 2 and even USL 1 is filling for this, like you were saying, the pre-professional, but guys who maybe haven't gotten a look yet, or people who just love playing and want to play more. I mean, I played 3 whole games of D3, you know, not to brag myself, but like, I know if I would have continued on that journey, it would have just been like, I just want to play. I want to be out there. And I'm interested to know, you know, like, does that bring more just excitement from players, and just like, it's more of a kind of everyone's coming together to just play and kick ass?
Yeah, I think you see a wide variety of expectations when players come into our program, and we really try to set the standard that this isn't a summer kick around, you know?
Yeah.
We want these guys to go out there and compete and obviously put on a show out on the field. But it's a very interesting dynamic having guys come from all over the country and join this team and represent the community. And so it's super fun seeing D3 guys match up against D1 guys. And you can really see it's different than a lot of other sports in the United States. There's a lot of quality still out there in the community college level, in the Division 3, Division 2 level, that just didn't get picked up by one of those major programs.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, a lot of people have said, and we've even talked about it, how the super draft in MLS, at least, has kind of lost a little bit of its shine. People aren't necessarily finding the superstar talent, at least, out of college programs. But what I'm hearing from you is it's out there still. And like, there are players, and, you know, places like the Junction are helping elevate those players.
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal. I think professional soccer in the United States is a grind. You'll see a lot of guys bouncing around professional programs, dropping back down to amateur, and it's just trying to find your way. Some guys get the opportunity. We have guys from our first year who have gone on trial at various places. It doesn't work out, and they're coming back to us. And so we really try to uplift those guys and give them the best shot to go chase their dream.
As a USL League 2 GM, what is the strategy and approach? Like, how are you thinking of what players to try and get on the team? Is there specific types of profiles and identity or places you look? Just how does that whole thing kind of come together?
Me and Ari are trying to become GMs. We talked about this on the podcast.
No,
we're going to pick your brain here. You know?
I heard it on your last podcast. I believe you guys went down the GM survey.
Yes.
And
we didn't have some nice things to say about GM, so I'm surprised you showed up.
I know. You guys probably could do my job.
No,
you know?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So I think year one, it was difficult. It's hard to know the talent that you have until you see it out on the field. And with the nature of our league, you don't get to see that until really the entire team comes together in mid-May and we're already playing.
Dang. Yeah.
And so year one, it was difficult. We definitely learned a lot of stuff. But year two, I think we wanted our core to return. And so we have about 20 players returning from last year who are going to set the standard. And then it's looking at depth. Where were we, you know, where did we pick up injuries a lot over last season? Where do we think we can strengthen the team? I know we focused a lot this offseason on shoring up our defense. We had a lot of injuries in our back line last year. And so this year we have a lot of flexibility there. We're really excited about the different players we're bringing on there. And then also adding depth in the midfield. You know, we think that just a bit more quality in the midfield there would have really helped us last season. But yeah, so I mean, we have 20 guys coming back. That gives us a big room. We carry 40 on our roster, so quite a big roster.
Oh wow, yeah.
And
you got an NFL roster going.
Yeah. So it's interesting. The dynamics are interesting. When we all practice, when we get out to the fields, the guys are really competing. 40 guys on a roster, you know, and there's only 18 spots on game day. And so it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch the competitiveness. Our practices are really high level and they get after it. So,
yeah. I wanted to ask, just getting to know the West Seattle Junction more, who's the rival, right? I mean, you talked a little bit about Ballard. Maybe that's giving away too much, but there are a lot of teams locally in USL too.
Yeah, I mean, Ballard's the easy one. It's the regional one, you know,
Yeah.
and I think everybody's kind of chasing what Ballard has a little bit and the success that they've found. You know, on the business side of things, we definitely look up to them, and we want to take some of the things that they've done and grow on that, make it our own. You know, obviously with attendance and their fan base, but also just game day stuff, bringing in musicians and things like that. And so we really want to build on that. But once we get out on the field, we do not like them. We do not like Ballard, and I'll be the first one to say that. You know, I was able to, after our or before our home match against them last year, give a little speech to the boys, and unfortunately we didn't come away with the W there. But we're looking forward to it this year. We only have one game, and it's at their place, and so we're gonna come in and we're gonna show them that the Junction's here.
There's going to be a sellout.
It's already looking that way. You know, hopefully they allocate us some tickets, and we'll have a little away section, you know, supporting us as well.
Yeah. Hey, Ari and I will be there.
Oh,
I want to go to
100%,
that game. That's going to be great.
You got to be there. You got to be there. Support Ballard, of course. Support Ballard, but also root on your Junction Blues and wear your hats out there.
There we go. Yeah. One more on that. I think it's so interesting because in American soccer specifically, rivalries or just games in general, away games are played so far away from each other. So it is really cool to kind of have that, you know, that English style inner city rivalry, like a Man City, Man United, or whatever it may be. At games that are also like super approachable. Like I'm sure, you know, I mean, maybe you can share a little bit about like pricing for tickets and stuff like that. But, you know, some people have been put off by the prices of Major League Soccer tickets or just other sporting events in general. But this seems like something where you can literally be invested on the level of neighborhood, and on top of that, like get in at a good price.
Absolutely. And that's one of our biggest missions, is to kind of break down the barriers to entry for the game of soccer, both in terms of our fan base, but also with players coming in. So our tickets are priced at $15 a match, even cheaper if you buy season tickets. And we think that's really important. Professional sports in the U.S., tickets just continue to rise. And so for a lot of low-income families, even middle-class families, it's really difficult to be engaged. And so we really want to open that up and invite these people to come watch really quality soccer for extremely cheap. You know, come to our match and watch these guys who are striving to be pros, and then inspire that generation of youth who can look up to our players and say, hey, I want to be that guy. I want to represent West Seattle in the future. So that's a big mission of ours. And then on the player side as well, our players don't pay anything to be on the team. We take care of everything for them, from uniforms to physical therapy. That's one of our biggest things. We want our players to be healthy. Obviously, a lot of them are going back to their college programs come fall. And so being able to return them back to that program, you know, healthy or healthier than they came to us, that's huge.
Do you have players like staying with host families, or how does that work as far as like their accommodations?
Yeah, so we have a lot of local players who will just travel to our practice field and everything. But for players that we recruit who don't have a home in Seattle, we give them a place to stay at a local family's house. Some of our sponsors have been very kind to open their house up. I hosted a player last year. That was really fun. And so we try to take good care of them and give them to a place where all they have to think about is going on the field and competing to the best of their ability.
I'm interested to know a little bit more about what you were talking about, you know, returning player. They don't have to pay. Is that something that happens in USL too?
You know, I don't know around our division. I believe the mission there is pretty similar.
Yeah.
But if you compare it against summer leagues in baseball, a lot of those players have to actually pay to be on the team, which we want to break that down. I mean, ultimately, League Two is about breaking down the pay-to-play model in the United States, giving people another route to be able to compete at the highest level. You know, you see in U.S. sports, continuing your athletic career is always tied to higher education, which, we could debate about that if that's healthy or not. But League Two gives an alternate route to players who might not want to go to college. And they can still get seen. Even the UPSL with Bellevue Athletic and some of the clubs locally here are giving players, a real opportunity to find a different route.
How would you describe the core values of your program? Like when a player joins West Seattle Junction, what are you trying to instill? What do you hope they get out of it when they're done with the stint on your team compared to when they come into it?
Yeah, I would say community is a huge one. It kind of goes in the question you asked previously, what are we looking for in players? We really drive that the community aspect is huge. We want them to be involved. We want them talking to our littlest of fans, signing autographs after the game, and really being involved, that, going out to sponsor events and interacting. We want them to become a part of the West Seattle community and the West Seattle family. I would say passion for the game is a huge one. We want players to come here and really care. Care about winning, of course, but care about their teammates and striving to be the best they can. And we really saw that in year one with our players. They became a really tight-knit group. You'll see them frequently on social media, uplifting each other. We've had some unfortunate injuries this year, and you'll see guys, supporting each other. And so that's what we're looking to do. Passion, community, and just continuing to develop the game in the United States.
Who this season are we going to be able to look? You say you're returning a lot of players, obviously, but who are you looking forward to come and see play with the Junction?
So a new player that we have coming in, he was previously at St. Francis University, just got a transfer to Rutgers. His name's Joshy Shelb. We think he's going to be top for us. We think he's going to be class at the 10 and really score goals and create. And so we had a little bit of a gap in that area last season. We really think that he can fill those shoes. But, to add on top of that, we needed a little bit of clinical finishing at our striker position. And so, we're going to announce it in a few days' time. So it should be announced when we drop this video. But we are bringing on Alex Mejia, previously of Ballard FC, to come play the 9 for us here in West Seattle. And so we think that's huge. He just got some minutes there in the US Open Cup match against the Velocity, and he played quite well, even though they ended up falling there. And so we're really excited to have him. It drives the rivalry a little bit as well. And so it's going to be exciting to see him out on the field.
Who was the player that went to Portland from Seattle, Ari? Was that...
Well, I feel like there's been
a couple.
I think Kenny Cooper played for both. Zach Wani actually played for both. I was thinking
Zach. Yeah, Zach Wani. Classic. So this is a real Zach Wani situation,
It is. And we think he's going to do great things for us. And so we're excited to get him out on the field. Everybody's buzzing. So
was that like a big first GM moment for you of snaking a player from a rival? Was that like a little GM milestone?
It was a little bit sweet. I think we have to just see how everything plays out on the field. I don't think we're going to be too excited if we don't make playoffs this season. That's the goal. We want to go out there. We want to win our division. And with that, obviously, there's that date on our calendar of Ballard. We want to get them. But ultimately, come mid-July, we want to be at the top of the division. And so regardless of the players that we can attract to our program, I think that as a GM, I just want to see us reach that milestone.
Is it hard to establish like a on-field identity when you're recruiting a USL League Two roster where it seems like maybe there might be some obstacles as far as, really keying in on a specific type of player stylistically? Is that something that you've encountered, or how do you kind of manage to instill that identity while also kind of trying to give everyone a chance and also creating this big 40-man roster that you guys have?
Yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult, and the players gelling together in such a short period of time is tough. I really respect our head coach, Eric Oman. His philosophy about the game is that we can play any system with the players that we have, and it's really it's up to the players on the field to develop. How we want to attack. We want to be really tidy in the back, and so that's what we'll start with. Is making sure our defense is sound. But then as we move forward up the pitch, Coach Oman really gives those players freedom to play with creativity. And I think that really helps us in a season like this that's so condensed, that players can find a lot of freedom when they play in his system. And I think that gives us an advantage to something more rigid.
That's fun. That's fun soccer to watch too.
Yeah, and that's
League Two it's a fun style, back and forth, pretty entertaining. High octane is the League Two that I've watched.
Yeah, and that's our goal. We want to put on a show, right? We want to win games, but we want the soccer that we play to really be fun to watch.
You're creating a straight up telenovela for this Ballard game. I'm excited for this.
We were at Spokane Velocity versus Ballard in the Open Cup last year. We weren't at the one that was just a couple days ago.
Yeah,
but that was a crazy game, honestly. It was 0-0 right until the last second. Spokane Velocity came through with the goal right at the very end, but it was electric. That one that was at Interbay that was at Memorial.
That was at Memorial, yeah.
But I've been to a couple at Interbay as well, and it's a whole scene.
Yeah, they pretty much played the same match 2
Basically,
years in a row.
Yeah.
I think Ballard was actually pretty unlucky in both matches not to find a goal.
Oh, absolutely. The one we were at,
And this year, 120th minute, they played an extra 30.
Yeah.
And so, and then you have a goal ruled offsides right at the death. I mean, that's heartbreaking.
But also not for you. A little bit nice.
I will say it's tough for me to root for them, to sit down and root for them. But it's difficult because we also want to elevate League Two, right?
You want a cup set.
Yeah, exactly.
You want a cup set.
Yeah, exactly. So, sitting down and watching that match was a mix of emotions for me, but, I'm not disappointed with the result.
I was going to ask here, Roman Torres.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was saying.
Do you want to take it, Ari?
Well, we just saw that you had was this a guest coaching appearance for Roman, or just tell us about the connection there? How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy for me. I looked up to him.
Did you see the tattoo of himself on himself?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, he has a tattoo of himself
lifting
the cup
Yeah.
on his body. That's the coolest thing ever.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. Self-portrait on your body is so sick. I love that.
Yeah. So, I don't even know how we initially started the conversations with Roman, but we really find value in having him a part of the staff as a professional player mentor. He's a guy who has, done it himself. And so speaking to our players about how do you find that level, and how do you grind in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically. And so we really appreciate him, being on our staff. And he's just fun to be around. He has an aura around him. And man, I can remember watching him take that penalty. I was in my basement, and now I get texts from him. So it's wild how things develop. And I find that we're extremely lucky to have him a part of the staff.
He was always known as such a big personality in the Sounders locker room.
He was an aura guy.
For sure. I remember I was covering the team in 2016 when they won the cup, and he was obviously such a huge part of why that happened. But even during I think he came on maybe midway through that season, and it was kind of an underrated change of the vibes, just having him in there, and he would lead the dance parties in the locker room.
The one where he makes Jordan Morris dance this. That's one of my favorite videos of all time.
That was iconic.
He still hits that dance move.
He does.
He still, I can confirm, he still hits that dance move.
That's a great get. That's a great get.
That's such a we love Roman. Yeah, I'm So he's still with the team.
He is. He'll be on staff for year 2. And so
come meet Roman.
Yeah, come meet Roman. Come out to West Seattle and have a good time. It's always a party in West Seattle.
Yeah.
Anyone else like on the upcoming roster that you want to highlight or want people to know about that they can see at a game this year?
Man, I mean, I could go down the list of a lot of
all
our
40.
A lot of our players. I'd like to highlight our keeper. We had him last year, Lucas Martin. He's a guy at a D2 Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. Yeah. And
that sounds like a guy who could be like MLS talent. Like you'd grind it out in D2, play continue. Sorry, I'm just like
no worries.
I'm getting dreamy about this man.
Well, yeah, I had I was fortunate to be able to get to know him over last season, and he's a great guy, but he's also great between the sticks. And so his shot stopping ability, incredible. He saved a PK against Old Town last season, which resulted in us getting the draw away. But his distribution is fantastic. And so he can kick the ball a mile long, but he can also play short, very comfortable. And so I look forward to seeing him this season and continue to grow on what he did last year.
That rocks. Oh yeah. I was gonna ask here. I want to come back into the mind of you and what your average day looks like. Is this full time for you? Is this like I'm doing this and also grinding it out, doing other stuff? I love the lower league stuff. I feel like I'm in Football Manager, like talking with you. Is that kind of the vibe?
Yeah. So when I got brought on to the GM role, I'm lucky enough this is my full-time job now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a dream come true to be able to work for my hometown club in a full-time capacity. Average day, man, I could not even tell you how different my days look like. I wake up, I got to get my coffee.
We go.
That's the first one. But usually it's checking in on players a lot. So I lead our registration through the USL. So making sure that they're going to be eligible to play come May. And then, dealing with some of the international stuff. So we have international guys who come in and they need to get their paperwork done through US Soccer. So that's a big role. And then I'm involved heavily with the day-to-day of just the business of the club. So trying to drive the community outreach part of things.
Podcasting,
yeah, trying to spread the word out there. But my weeks look drastically different depending on when you catch me.
Real life Football Manager.
How would you describe just the state and the health, I guess, of League Two? What do you think is going well about where things stand, and what do you maybe think could use growth or improvement?
That's a good question. I think that what we're doing really well is connecting with youth clubs. I think you'll see a lot of young people at these games, and that's a big thing about just growing the game in the United States. If the game continues to grow, League Two will always have a place here, right? And so that's going to be huge coming up. Club World Cup here, and then World Cup following that, and then even the Olympics further down the road. But I think what we could do a bit better is reaching the average soccer fan. Somebody who might follow like their local MLS team, and showcasing like what this is all about. That hyper local soccer is really fun to go to, and that the quality is actually like quite high. With guys coming in from college programs all around, I don't think people realize really how good the soccer is.
Yeah, that's. And do you guys play on Saturdays or Sundays?
It jumps around.
Yeah,
it jumps around. So we'll have some midweek games, but I would say Friday, Saturday, Sunday is generally if you're working a 9 to 5, come catch us after.
Heck yeah. No, that rocks. I was gonna ask because recently announced, voted on by the USL. This is like the big hot topic in US soccer. Promotion and relegation coming in 2028. Is that correct? So I'm interested to hear, maybe you don't want to reveal too much about your, everything, but how that looks for the Junction, if you guys are excited, or, maybe you guys are a little worried, unsure. I guess it's so far away too.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should be excited, at least for this experiment. How is Pro-rel gonna work in the United States? Are people gonna, be really open to it and love it, or is it, is the American mind a little bit, very playoff oriented and everything? So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think everybody should be excited about it. I think it just grows the possibilities of soccer in the United States. And it kind of challenges the way that we develop players a little bit in that mindset. And I think that's something that really needs to improve for soccer in the United States to continue to grow. And so we're excited for it. It is a little bit down the road, but we don't get any advance notice of any of this stuff. So we were finding out right as you guys did as well. So
yeah, speak a little bit more to that. How you think that the player development will change with promotion and relegation, because I do hear you sharing with us the pay to play problem in American soccer. That's something that a lot of people point to online, and people have said, promotion and relegation is something that could fix American soccer. It's going to create this completely new thing. I mean, I'm interested to hear from your perspective, at least, the changes in player development that this can bring.
I think just the academy style, where guys can be brought up in the same systems, and obviously just eliminating the barriers. There's a lot of kids who want to play soccer that just don't have the money to, or don't have the money to be on a team that supports their talent. And so I think that's something that's huge, and the USL is really pushing it right now. They really want academies, of League 2 teams, of League 1 teams, and so I think that's the next step is growing this hyper local vision. And so that kids have the opportunity to grow up in a system, and that we also continue to develop our coaches. I think that's something that is missed quite frequently, is that we need to continue to educate coaches, and that's something that our head coach Eric Oman, that's one of his big missions, is being a coaching educator, and so his perspective there is very appreciated.
I mean, I know Ari is a huge New Mexico United fan.
I was just gonna ask, and I was gonna say it's kind of a selfish question that only I care about, but I'm from New Mexico, so I'm a diehard New Mexico United fan. Have you followed much what they've got going on down there?
I've seen a little bit. It looks absolutely electric, and I was actually lucky enough that when we met to schedule this season, we got their general manager on the phone to speak to us a little bit about what they're doing.
That's awesome.
How they're doing different stuff with their kits, with their kit sponsorship. A really cool perspective into the business side of things and how they're growing.
It was just crazy because like growing up there, I never really even considered the notion that there would be a soccer team that had support like that. We had a AAA baseball team that was decently supported, but nothing crazy. But the community down there like really embraced it in a way that was surprising to me, and like the marketing and the crowds. It really, like you said, it's electric, and it was awesome to see that in my hometown. But I think like what it showed to me is it's like possible in places where you might not necessarily expect it. I guess I had lived there for a long time at that point, so maybe it was more expected. But like, I guess that's something that I guess I hope like some USL League 2 clubs that are already in existence, or ones that are maybe more prospective, like you can kind of like I said earlier, people might not have thought of West Seattle as the first place, but like you're really doing it, so it can be done.
Absolutely, and I'd like to highlight the new Portland team. They're connected to the Portland Pickles down there, which is obviously electric factory for baseball. So we're excited to see their atmosphere when we travel down there. But absolutely, I think that there's a market for soccer truly in many towns across the United States. And just giving people access to that outside of, the MLS is huge.
Yeah, Ari literally talked about it on a stream a couple weeks ago about how, the Sounders are like, do we move stadiums? What's going to bring fans back? Having a little attendance troubles here and there. And we've both kind of been under the assumption that if you have a good team and you have affordable tickets, people will come and show up and support you. And that seems like a pretty good model to me. I mean, I don't know. But why don't we wrap it up here with some agendas? Agenda check is our fan favorite segment here. So I wrote down some agendas of what I think I'm setting now for this season for the Junction. You can give us your reactions. Maybe you can come up with one. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but
why don't we have him rate the
yeah,
agenda?
there you go. You can rate them as like hot, super fire, bad. You know what I mean?
All right, I got it.
Do you have any, Ari, or should I just rip them?
Rip yours.
Okay. My first one is Junction will finish higher than Ballard FC agenda.
Ooh, that's hot.
Hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot. We're gonna
hot good or hot bad?
Hot good.
All right,
hot good.
there we go.
I like the confidence. That's the confidence that we're bringing into the season. And I think it would be a failure from the staff if we didn't strive for that. Yeah.
There we go. I mean, I like what I see. I like the you're saying scrappy underdogs, like coming back. Not to put it out there, but haven't gotten a win against Ballard yet, so it's due.
It's due.
I'm hyped for this derby now.
I know. I'm like, we're gonna have to go out and do a whole video out there for you guys.
You should, and their fans are incredible. They'll definitely bring the energy for that match. They don't like us, and we don't like them, so the feeling's mutual. And I think if you watched last year, we had quite a few comeback victories. That was a little bit of our MO last year, and so I think that fits the bill. The underdogs.
All right, here's my second one. This is only because I knew this player coming in. Manny Diop, who had committed to Penn State and has played a lot of college soccer, great player. Team of the season quality for regionally. That's my take. Only because that's a player I knew and I watched him in college and I loved what I saw. So
that's going to be super hot. That's a super hot take. We love Monty. He's very adaptable. We played him at striker last year. Yeah. He's mainly plays in the back, but we had him at center back, we had him at right back, and then we stuck him at top a few games. And so I think that's a super hot agenda item right there.
There we go. Well, Ari, do you have any to add?
I think that sizes it up.
That's
right there.
those are my two
Those were
agendas. We'll have to check in with you again at some point. Anything else that you want to share? Where can people find the Junction online, for one? And two, are tickets on sale? Where can people get them? All that kind of good stuff. Season start. Go for it.
Absolutely. So if you want to find us, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and all the social medias. So look us up, West Seattle Junction FC. If you want to buy tickets are on sale. Like I mentioned before, only $15 for single match tickets, even less if you want to buy season tickets. So go to our website, wsjunctionfc.club, and you'll be able to find tickets there along with our schedule and merchandise as well. We got our jerseys dropping here very soon, and we're excited about that.
So we're stoked about our hats too. Yeah, but we'll have to talk about a shorts sponsor, Lobbing Scorchers shorts sponsor, maybe at some point here, because
get it going. Strike while the iron's hot, and maybe you'll push us through to a championship.
There we go. Well, thank you so much, Cory, for giving us your time, and we will catch up soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'd be thrilled to come on again.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.